ABC 57 News, 19.
Small towns don't always mean less resources. It's just about wearing all kinds of hats. On tonight's Beyond the Badge, ABC 57's Brenda Coopson introduces us to the Osceola Police Department to show us how small community policing means getting to know and really care for your neighbors.
This week on Beyond the Badge, we're in the little town with a big heart, Osceola. It's right on the county line between St. Joe and Elkhart. They've got 2 full-time officers, 1 reserve and 1 part-time. You're about to meet Town Marshal Thomas Hixon. He's been here for 4 years, following in his father's footsteps of being an officer.
My father was a canine officer with Goshen Police Department. He was a police officer for 19 years. So it's the passion that my dad had that I think that carried over to me. And so I've kind of always had the want to be a police officer.
What does it mean to you to follow in your father's footsteps?
It's huge. It's huge. It was a huge deal to me when I graduated and he was there to see me graduate. I'd like to think now, since he's passed, that he rides in the front seat with me when I work every day, so I feel like he's always with me. I think he looks out for me at times when I'm out there, I hope, anyways. So it's huge for me.
Thomas started out as a hospital police officer, which he says has given him a different perspective on situations now working at Osceola PD.
I honestly prefer that people are more honest on stops and just say, you know what, I did that. You know, like I've had people, they're like, yeah, I just got off work, rolled my windows down, cranked the radio. I wasn't paying attention. And me as a driver, I go, you know what, I've done that before. I get that. Whenever we get called out to calls, typically it's when people are at their worst. And so there's a really heightened situation. People are just really bothered with what's going on. And it's given me the ability, having worked at the hospital first, because it's a different type of policing there, to listen closer to people and spend more time listening sometimes than talking. Were you aware what the speed was? We deal with people at their worst usually. And there's a whole lot of emotion going with that, and it's huge for us as officers to control ours. We wear all the hats that the bigger departments can delegate down, like, you know, you have your detective bureaus that investigate this, you know, you have your special victims units. We're kind of the first responders. We are the detectives. We are the follow-up. If you see and you look over there, the door is still semi-cracked. So he hasn't necessarily secured it all the way yet. We have a lot of theft here, and we also have a lot of drugs, being that we're kind of the in-between the counties.
But Thomas says the real issue is speeding and the danger it poses to the community.
When I can get out, I like to get out and do traffic in the town, because traffic ends up being a real issue in town with our train tracks. It ends up being a problem. I get it that the trains are annoying. I deal with them every day. I understand that, but you gotta come to a complete stop. Some of our bigger stuff is the speeding and the stop signs. We have people that attempt to get down to the other traffic crossings before the gate arms are down, so it causes people to speed down our residential streets, to run stop signs. We have issues with semi-drivers that drive down residential streets because they don't want to cross back over and have to get possibly caught by the train again. Sometimes when I do traffic, I put myself right out in the open, because the whole goal is not to pull people over and give tickets. It's just to be aware, hey, slow yourself down. Where our industrial part is, I've got people as high as 70 and a 30. Yes, I give tickets, but I generally don't like to. I feel like educating is far a better way to go about things. So I definitely, when I pull people over, try to educate them, remind them. So, I mean, we're all drivers. We all get to that point sometimes where we get kind of absent-minded and complacent to, you know, where we're going and what we're doing, that we don't realize what speed we're going, that we just didn't stop for that stop sign, things of that nature. That's a huge thing here too. Just trying to get across. I've got a limited amount of manpower to try and do as much as I can. And again, it's important to me to serve this community, this town, as best I can, and my officers in my department to do so. Because it's an oath that we took to protect the residents of the town, so it's important to me. So I think that, along with having people understand this, that we can't always do what your big city does, but we're going to try, and we're going to give you guys give the town the best service that we can give them. There's a lot of hours I work above and beyond just because it's the coverage of the town, and that's, what I'm tasked with doing is making sure the town is protected.
Thomas tells me it's not all about giving tickets, but about educating people and understanding he's usually dealing with people at their worst. In Osceola, I'm Hixson, ABC 57 News.